Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Fad Show. So on this week's episode, I'm going to introduce you to my newest wagon acquisition. I'm going to do pretty much my first look around the car, see what the condition of it is. I'm going to try and figure out if there's any mechanical issues with it that need addressed. And yeah, basically just go over the car. And then if you stay tuned to the very end, I'll talk about why I bought this car, which I'm pretty excited about. If you want to leave a comment below and guess what you think I'm going to do with this car, please do that, and I will give you a little bit of a spoiler. This isn't a flip. This is actually a car that I'm keeping for myself. This is probably, hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be a forever wagon for me. So with that, let's get right to it. So in case you hadn't already figured it out, it's a E46 Touring, BMW E46 Touring. It's a 2004 model year, which was actually the very last year they made E46 Tourings. It's a 325i. It's the only engine option in the US that was available in the Touring form. It is an automatic, but that might be changing. And it's in pretty good condition just from the little bit I've looked it over. I absolutely love this paint color. It's called green, gray, metallic, and it's not really this like white light I have in my garage is not really doing it justice. In the sun, like a lot more really green comes out. Right now, it kind of just looks gray to me, but I absolutely love it. I've been looking for about 6 months for an E46 Touring. I actually bought one that was a complete piece of crap, and I sold that off already. But I saw one of these green gray ones come up. It was like all the way in Oregon, but unfortunately it was an X-Drive car. But like as soon as I saw it, I fell in love with that color, and then I realized how rare the color was, and I was like, there's no way that I'm gonna find another one. And then this one popped up, and it's a sport pack, pretty well equipped. Obviously it's a rear-wheel drive model, which is what I need for the project that I'm gonna be doing with it. I saw this come up, and it wasn't exactly a good deal, but I just had to have this color. It was actually at like a CarMax type dealership in California, one that you're not allowed to, they don't negotiate on price, so you just have to pay the price. I didn't get a good deal, but I'm pretty happy with it still. I don't think I could have found, I mean, there's a few other cars I looked at that I probably could have got cheaper, but I definitely am in love with this color, so I'm happy it worked out. So yeah, I guess let's just do a walk around and see what I think. I mean, I've been working nights ever since I got the car, so I really just kind of gave it a quick inspection the day it was dropped off, and I haven't really looked at it that closely, so a lot of the stuff I find hopefully will be in real time for you guys. Overall, I think it's pretty good, but you know, it is an 18-year-old car, so there's always going to be, you know, little things. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do a walk around, I guess, in the exterior of it first. So the first thing I noticed when I started looking at this car is apparently cars are known to cause cancer in California. But I guess that goes for pretty much everything in California. It's kind of interesting to see on the window of the car. I guess that's probably just a state law mandated when a car comes from a dealer. Obviously, yeah, this is peeling here, but I'm sure you can just paint that over. Anyways, I mean, the body's in pretty good condition. There are some scrapes along it. The wheels are somehow immaculate. I don't know if these are replacements, but there's not like a single scratch on it, which doesn't really make any sense because like there's scratches on the body, so that's a little weird. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. California, so there's no rust, but it's also not like sun damage from like a car that might come from Florida. The lights are a little bit discolored, but really not bad. I guess that was kind of a not so good glue job there. The car's also really dirty. It was clean when it showed up, and then we got like a really big rainstorm the other night. It was sitting outside. Yeah, like I said, there's little things. The mirrors are scraped. The one door that has a pretty good, not really sure what happened here. Maybe like a shopping cart came across the side of it or something. I think this might buff out. It feels like just very light surface scratches. It might take some wet sanding, but I think I can get that out. The one panel that's definitely going to need repainted is the bumper. Just that scrape that started there and went all the way down. I'm pretty sure that's going to need to be repainted, but it shouldn't be too bad to get that taken care of. And coming around back, This is the gray interior, which I'm not crazy about, but honestly, seeing it in person, it doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. Overall, pretty immaculate. See if there's any treasures left in here for me. No, not really, but surprisingly, it still has all the original tools, and the spare tire actually looks like it's in pretty good condition. So got the cargo cover, which is super rare for old BMW wagons. But yeah, overall the body's pretty good. I don't think this fitment is quite right, so might need to address that. The interior is also in really good condition. I mean, this has the premium package, so it has the real leather seats and not the like fake leather, which usually doesn't wear as well. But they're in pretty good shape. I don't think anyone's ever even sitting in the back. And the driver's seat, which is always the worst in every BMW, is not terrible. I mean, it's not good, but it's not terrible. It's actually probably better than most of this age. And then this ashtray is pretty much never there. The car is pretty well equipped. It has the Harman Kardon Audio Sport Pack, Premium Pack, and it has the like rear parking sensors too, which is kind of cool for a car that doesn't have backup camera. The headliner isn't sagging, which is not common on any old BMW, as you probably know. So we'll go ahead and pop the hood. I guess someone hit the dead pedal a little hard, cracked it. Yeah, someone took their time detailing the engine bay, which, yeah, is what it is again. I actually recently just talked to someone that was like a big E46 person and stuff to look for in E46s, and the strut towers, I guess, are known for sometimes getting mushroomed. These ones obviously look good, and then also this like pinch weld here is known to crack, which on this car it looks good. I think this one over here had like a tiny little crack. You may or not be able to see on the camera, but it's only like 2 or 3 millimeters. So maybe I can drill that out to stop it. But anyways, I mean, everything in here looks good, but yeah, one thing I've noticed is every time I run it, I get a wet spot in my driveway and the low coolant lives on. So I'm sure it probably has the typical buried under the intake manifold E46 coolant leak. So that will need to be looked into, I guess, but can't see anything wrong in here. It looks like valve cover gasket is fairly new and clean, and it's all dry underneath here from what I can see. I guess the real test will be when we look at it from down below. Alright, so I'll go ahead and put it up on the quick jacks and then we can look underneath. I was driving this car that there was a tiny bit of play in the steering wheel, so this is probably a good example of a car that has a bad tie rod end. Yeah, it's gonna feel that play in the steering rack, so it definitely needs probably a new inner, maybe outer tie rods. The brakes look brand new on it. There's no lip there. The pads look like they have a decent amount of meat on them. Looks like someone at some point replaced the shocks. The dust cover is a little beat up, but the bump stop looks good, and there's no oil running down it, so that's good. Dealership said they just put brand new tires on it. I kind of wish they didn't because I want to run a different tire. But anyways, nevertheless, I would look at the other corners, but I already checked the brakes everywhere. I imagine the other side wheel is loose too. The rear wheel bearings aren't going to matter for what I'm doing with it, but they feel pretty good regardless. Let's look at the dust colors. I'm not going to take off the splash guards because I just don't care for what I need it for. Everything looks pretty good. There's a little bit of like surface corrosion or whatever, but
Nothing bad at all. It's definitely leaking oil from somewhere. I don't know if it's engine or transmission. Actually, there's a power steering line. Let me get my light. Looks like that power steering line and the power steering rack is leaking. There's a bunch of new hoses. A lot of new coolant hoses, so that's good. Oil pan gasket is a little bit weepy, but not needing to be changed. Motor mounts look solid. See. Yeah, you can see those tie rods, the boots are torn, so that might be where some of the play is coming from, but I imagine it's more the inners. Well, maybe those struts haven't been changed. Oh, those tire sway bar links are done. And those shocks are probably on their last leg. Oh, here's some oil on the exhaust here. So something is leaking from the backside of the engine. Transmission is leaking. Well, it's good to know it's a normal BMW. Alright, well, there's good seeing new plugs here for the differential. That means someone kept up on maintenance and replaced those. Again, it looks like there's been some seepage here at some point. These differential bushings look good, and those are actually known for wearing out on these. Yeah. Kind of same as the front, nothing really too pressing. Probably again would need new shocks eventually. It doesn't look like they're leaking, but they're pretty old. I don't get these wheels because the inside of them looks a little scuffed, so like maybe they were refinished. I don't know. It's kind of weird that the car has scrapes on it, but the wheels are like immaculate. Well, nothing really to be concerned about under here. Pretty much the only thing I care about is that it's not rusty, which it's not, so that's good.
So overall, the car is not terrible. I actually just checked the coolant. I think it might just be an issue with that float in the coolant tank, because it actually looks like the level is fine, or it could be a sensor issue. I guess I'll just have to keep an eye on that, because I did see some water under the car, but that could have just been from the AC condenser. But overall, for 18-year-old car, I think it's pretty good. Not perfect, but I wouldn't expect it to be with 128,000 miles and 18 years old. I think it was well kept. It has a really good service history on Carfax, although I don't have any of the records for it. So overall, it's pretty good. So now I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do with this car. So like stems back to pretty much when I was in high school. It was about the time that the E46 M3 came out. I guess it was a little bit of whatever. During my high school period, I graduated in 2008, so I guess part of my high school time was when the E46 was new. And I actually remember vividly the exact moment that I fell in love with the E46 M3. And I was actually camping outside of Best Buy overnight to buy a PlayStation 2, or no, it would have been PlayStation 2. PlayStation 3? Yeah, I guess it would have been PlayStation 3 at the time. I didn't actually keep it. I just sold it on eBay to make a couple $100. I guess that's what you do when you're high schooler and you don't have any money. But anyways, I digress. But while I was waiting in line, it was like a really cold, rainy November night in New Hampshire, and I saw Le Mans blue E46 M3 that like just pulled through the parking lot, and then he did like a drift like basically around like the end of one of the parking lanes and then through another one, just to impress all the people that were standing there in the rain waiting to buy a PlayStation 3. But at that moment I was like, oh my god, that car is beautiful and it sounds so good. And I've kind of always wanted one, but I've always been afraid of the maintenance with them and kind of the risk of the big three, so I never actually bought one. And now I'm at the point in my life where I could afford to take that risk with those maintenance uncertainties with those cars, and now the prices of them have just gone crazy. Like a sub 100,000 mile E46 coupe manual with the big three done is like $30,000 to $40,000, which is just crazy. Because what I plan to do is actually outside, I have an E46 M3 convertible, and the plan is to take the drivetrain from that and put it in this. and the sum of the two cars is a lot less than it is to actually just buy an E46 M3 coupe with the big three done. And I love wagons, and I also love sleeper cars. In E46 M3, like actual original coupe manuals, the values of those are so insane that like I feel like I'd have to be precious with the car, where this car will just be completely invisible to anyone but the most like purist whatever car fanatics. And even then I don't really know how you would tell other than just listening to the exhaust or induction sound, because I don't plan to do any badging. I'm not planning to do the wide body, so it's just gonna be sleeper grandpa spec with the gray green and the gray interior. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I guess there's kind of one caveat to this whole thing, that yes, like the sum of the cars is cheaper buying an E46 Touring and an E46 M3 convertible, but obviously there's a huge labor there to put that together. And I was really torn on whether trying to do it myself or how a shop do it. And although I'm like really confident with the mechanical aspects of the swap, it was kind of the electrical stuff that I was a little nervous about. Like I know you can make it work. I really wanted it to be done like correctly, having like the sport button work, your like tire pressure monitoring, like basically everything the E46 M3 has that these cars don't. And then also having a cluster that has like the correct door opening LEDs for the hatch and for the rear doors, which the coupe doesn't have. So like do that level of detail like takes a little bit of, I guess, kind of experience in doing these swaps. So that's why I think I'm going to have a shop do it, and actually already have the build whatever slot for the shop that I picked to do it. I haven't asked them yet if they're comfortable with me using the name or whatever, so I'm not gonna list the name until I get permission from them. But anyways, yeah, so having a shop do it, and then that's kind of how I'm justifying doing that, is like the entire labor market right now, we're really short at my work. So I'm kind of just been killing myself with overtime to pay for this, at least pay for the labor. I mean, the cars I kind of, whatever, justifying using my whatever saved up money that I have, but then I'm trying to just work enough to offset the labor costs. And I think that if something ever happens someday where I need to sell the car, it would be more valuable having like records of the like reputable shop did the swap, than, you know, some person that halfway knows what they're doing in their garage. Even though I think it'd be really fun, I also kind of just want the finished product sooner, and it would take me probably forever to do it. So that's the plan with this car. I'm very excited about it. There's still a lot of unknowns, like what maintenance items I want to do while the car's apart, what I want to do with the interior. I've kind of toyed with the idea of doing an interior color swap, because I'm not crazy about the gray. But now that I've seen the gray in person, I actually kind of like it. And I actually kind of like the grandpa green and gray, just like sleeper color combo. So we'll see. I was gonna try and do like a combination gray black interior, but I'm not sure yet. Still a lot of unknowns. I'm probably gonna spend the crazy money and get a CSL carbon intake, because they just sound like amazing, and I'll just work days and days of overtime and pay for it. But anyways, I'm really excited about the project. I hope you guys will come along for the journey with me. Obviously, I'm not going to be building it myself, but hopefully I can like keep you up to date as the status of it along the way. And then obviously once it's done, I'll make plenty of videos, do some road trips in it. I'm sure it'll need plenty of maintenance because it's a BMW. But yeah, I'm really excited. Really excited about it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked this video. As always, if you really liked it, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, write them down below in the comments. If you want to stay up to date with what's going on faster than I put out the videos, and follow me on Instagram. If you do follow me on Instagram, you already knew about this project and about both the cars. So yeah, hope you guys have a good day. Bye.